Drawing up the balanced scorecard and showing key categories is not too complicated to do. The difficulty may arise when you decide where you want to place your performance measures. It makes sense that any organisation needs to understand its financial performance, how happy its customers are its operations throughout the value chain efficient and effective? And finally, is it a learning organisation that will be able to adapt to future changes in the external environment? As we know, we can present balanced scorecards in different ways with different links between outcomes and measures we are trying to achieve. The hard part is identifying those performance indicators that, when combined, enable management to pinpoint where the gaps are, where resource distribution could improve, where to start and stop strategic options and projects. A bunch of measures on a page are, you guessed it, just a bunch of measures. The balanced scorecard should link to the organisation's vision, mission and goals. It's important to note here that performance measures can go in more than one balanced scorecard category. Consider ROA. This can be an internal process measure of asset utilisation, or it can be a financial measure demonstrating to shareholders how well the organisation is performing. It can be compared to the interest rate you get from a bank. Imagine I am a manufacturer of highly specialised parts for the defence industry. My capital equipment is worth $14 million. It is specialised machinery and tends to sit idle when not fulfilling an order for the Defence Department. Changes in my ROA could be a useful indicator on whether my internal processes are utilising my production lines well. But I could also measure production line uptime as a percentage of total hours available. This involves understanding how often the production line stops and therefore when product cannot be made. Which measure is more valuable? Either can be, or a combination. It's up to management to use their experience to consider the right measures and how they combine to evaluate performance. To recap, when thinking about where measures will go in a balanced scorecard, consider carefully what you want each measure to tell you, and then consider which perspective that measure sits in that matches your organisation's strategic focus. As discussed, return on assets can be an internal process measure of asset utilisation, but also a financial measure used by shareholders and investors to evaluate whether the organisation is making a good return on its capital. DIFOT can also be an internal process measure, just as quality assurance is a measure that affects the customer perspective. Measuring continuous improvement is both important to learning and growth, but also improving internal operations. There is no one right grouping of measures, but it is important to be able to place a measure in a category that will be appropriate for it.